For the last few years, the biggest story in AI has been about language. Chatbots, text generators, code assistants, intelligence trapped behind a screen. But something fundamental is shifting. AI is leaving the screen and entering the physical world. When you look at what's actually being deployed right now, not in 5 years, but today, you realize we're at the beginning of the most significant technological transition since the internet itself. This is the physical AI era, and it's arriving faster than almost anyone expected. So what do we actually mean by physical AI? Well, physical AI is the convergence of robotics, autonomous systems, and edge computing. It's about extending artificial intelligence into machines that can perceive and act in the real three-dimensional world. At CES in January, Nvidia's CEO Jensen Huang declared that the quote-unquote ChatGPT moment for robotics is here. And he's definitely not wrong. Think about it this way. Large language models predict the next word, image models predict the next pixel, but the physical world is three-dimensional, dynamic, and unpredictable. Teaching AI to navigate that world is fundamentally harder to solve, and it's basically the problem that's now being solved for real. So let's start with the most visible example, autonomous vehicles. Waymo is now operating driverless taxis in 10 American cities. In 2025 alone, they completed over 15 million fully autonomous rides, more than triple the year before. They just raised $16 billion at $126 billion valuation, with plans to expand to over 20 cities. And London is already on the roadmap, along with Tokyo and a dozen of other international cities. But as impressive as it sounds, Waymo's approach has real constraints. Extremely detailed pre-mapping of every route, specialized LiDAR hardware, and a geo-fenced operating area. That works for expansion, of course, but it's very expensive and slow to scale at the bigger levels. And Tesla is taking a fundamentally different approach with full self-driving. Instead of LiDAR and pre-mapped routes, Tesla uses a vision-only system trained on data from millions of vehicles already on the road. Every Tesla with cameras is collecting real-world driving data, feeding a neural network that just gets better and better every single day. And that architectural difference matters enormously because Waymo can add cities one by one, but Tesla can potentially deploy it to every road where a Tesla has ever driven. They've launched their Robotaxi service in Austin and are planning to start production of the CyberCab, which is a purpose-built vehicle with no steering wheel and no pedals. And of course, the scalability of that is quite clear. Like as you can see on the video, people can do a lot of things while being transported, even take a nap and do work. And it just creates this world where distances matter a lot less than they used to do in the past. So you can probably work from a lot more places because you can just go in the car and sleep on the way to work and on the way back and so on. So it really creates a lot of new opportunities that simply weren't possible before. And in China, Baidu's Apollo Go has been running autonomous rides in cities like Guangzhou for years already, and the global autonomous fleet could basically expand to nearly 10 times its current size by the end of this decade, if not more. This is clearly not just a pilot program anymore. This is basically infrastructure being built in real time. And now let's look up, because while robotaxis get the headlines, something equally revolutionary is happening in the air above us. Zipline just hit a massive milestone. In January, they completed their 2 millionth commercial delivery. Their drones have flown over 125 million autonomous miles, delivering more than 20 million items without a single serious injury. They've completed more deliveries than all other drone companies combined. Their US growth has been 15% week over week for 7 months straight. New delivery sites that used to take 10 weeks to reach 100 daily deliveries are now hitting that number in just 2 days. They just raised $600 million at a $7.6 billion valuation, and their median delivery time, well, it's 3 minutes from order to your door or your backyard or wherever you choose to have your items delivered. And the Alphabet's Wing, for instance, has partnered with Walmart, planning expansion to over 150 stores. So the delivery drone market overall is projected to grow from 5 billion to 27 billion by 2031. But maybe the most fascinating part of the whole physical AI era is humanoid robots, because this is where science fiction is genuinely becoming reality. The investment is also staggering. Humanoid robotics attracted around $4.6 billion in 2025 alone, and 21 new humanoid models were introduced compared to just 3 in 2022. And Figure AI raised over $1 billion, reaching a valuation of $39 billion. Tesla has deployed over 1,000 Optimus robots across its factories. They're converting their Fremont production line into an Optimus hub, targeting up to 1 million units per year. And recently, Elon Musk announced that Optimus 3 production could begin as early as this summer, and the progress is visible. In May of 2023, Optimus could barely walk, but by December last year, it was basically running, and that kind of improvement curve is exactly what happens right before exponential scaling. Figure AI is right there too. Their Helix O2 can autonomously tidying a living room now, pick up objects, put them away, navigate around furniture, and lots of other things. And their Figure O2 has been working at the BMW's Spartanburg plant for 11 months now, running 10-hour shifts, loading over 90,000 parts. They're offering robots as a service at roughly $1,000 per month. And meanwhile, in China, Unitree is selling humanoid robots for as little as $16,000. And speaking of Unitree, this brings me to something that's happening right here in Denmark as we speak, because this isn't just a story about Silicon Valley and Shenzhen anymore. It's basically landing right here in our supermarkets. So Vertex, one of Denmark's biggest supermarket chains owned by Salling Group, is preparing to deploy humanoid robots in their stores, and not sometime in the distant future. They're basically training them right now as we speak. The project is a partnership between Vertex and a Danish company called Hive Robots. Hive sources humanoid robots, specifically in this case the Unitree G1 from China, and then develops custom applications on top of it. In this case, they are teaching the robot to stock grocery shelves. One of the more interesting parts is that they started with pasta and chips, but that's actually on purpose because those are some of the hardest products to handle. Chips crush quite easily and pasta packages are a bit awkward to grip. If the robot can learn to handle those, it can handle almost anything in the supermarket context in terms of stocking up items on shelves. Simon Kusk, the operations director at Vertex, says his dream is to eventually have 2 humanoid robots in every single Vertex store across Denmark. And there are a lot of Vertex stores. They're in almost all cities. So that's really not just a theory or research paper. That's really starting to look like a deployment plan of humanoid robotics in Denmark, which is just extremely exciting. And the first real-world store is planned for a Vertex in the city of Lyngby. Initially, it will be after closing hours, so the robot can work without customers around, but the ambition is quite clear. They want these robots walking the aisles during business hours, stocking shelves, checking expiration dates, and handling tasks that are physically demanding and repetitive. And this is what makes the Hive Robots approach so clever. They're not trying to build the hardware from scratch. They're buying the best humanoid hardware already available, in this case from Unitree in China, and focusing entirely on the software layer, the intelligence, the fine motor control, the specific applications that make the robot useful in a Danish supermarket context specifically. And Vertex has also been clear, this is not about replacing people at scale, it's about handling the tasks that are heavy, repetitive, and time-consuming, checking thousands of expiration dates, restocking shelves at scale, emptying bins, sweeping floors, the kind of work that, frankly, most employees would rather not spend their entire shift doing. What strikes me about this is how it connects to the bigger picture. A $16,000 Unitree robot trained by a small Danish startup deployed in a supermarket you shop at every week. That's the physical AI era in its most tangible form. Not a concept video, not a demo at CES, a robot learning to put pasta on a shelf in Denmark, and then it's just about scaling it, of course. And while Denmark is focused on practical deployment, back in China, the hardware is evolving at an extraordinary pace. Chinese humanoid manufacturers are pushing the physical capabilities to their limits. These robots can now run, perform gymnastics, navigate complex terrain, and demonstrate athletic abilities that were unthinkable even 2 years ago. This is the ecosystem that Hive Robots is tapping into. World-class hardware, manufactured at scale at prices that make commercial deployment actually viable. The Denmark pilot is small, but it represents something enormous. The moment humanoid robots cross the line from industrial use cases into the places where ordinary people live and shop, and once that door opens, I don't think it's gonna close again that easily. And at a bigger level, Goldman Sachs reported that manufacturing costs for humanoids dropped 40% between 2023 and 2024, and the Bank of America projects costs will fall from $35,000 to as low as $13,000 within the decade. We're watching the cost curve of this technology basically collapse in real time, just like we saw with solar panels, just like lithium batteries. And when that happens, adoption doesn't grow linearly. It really explodes and becomes this exponential growth curve. Now here's what ties everything together. It's not really any single robot or drone or vehicle. It's the infrastructure being built underneath all of it. And a big player in that space is Nvidia. Nvidia has positioned itself as a computing backbone of physical AI. They've released open models for robot learning, world simulation, and embodied reasoning. Tools like Cosmos for synthetic data generation and Groot for humanoid robot control. And companies like Boston Dynamics, ABB, and Franka Robotics are all building on Nvidia's platform. Global industrial robot installations have hit an all-time high, over 500,000 units per year, 4 years running now. Amazon alone, as an example, has over 1 million robots in operation. So this is just not one company making a bet. This is an entire ecosystem and industry converging on the same thesis that the future of AI is physical. At least it's also physical, but it's of course also digital intelligence. It's basically all of it converging, all these S-curves converging together at the same time, and just kind of enhancing each other, propelling each other forward. So where does this leave us? Well, I think we're at one of those rare moments where multiple technologies converge at the same time, as mentioned. So autonomous vehicles are scaling from pilots to citywide infrastructure. Delivery drones are going from novelty to daily habit. Humanoid robots are moving from YouTube demos to factory floors. And all of it is powered by models that get cheaper, faster, and more capable every single month. The physical AI era is not something coming. It's already here, frankly, and it's really going to reshape transportation, logistics, manufacturing, healthcare, and daily life in general in ways most people haven't even begun to imagine. Even space is gonna be greatly affected, and SpaceX and XAI has merged, so that's they're going to merge, so that's also something to think about. The question isn't whether this transition will happen, it's how fast and whether you're paying attention to it. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this interesting, please subscribe to our channel. I'll be covering these developments in depth as they unfold. So have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye. If this video inspired you, please like and subscribe.